As the country prepares to vote in a crucial set of local elections, all eyes are not merely on Labour's consolidation or the Conservatives' collapse, but increasingly on Reform UK. What can it do? A party styling itself as the true opposition to government, the answer to Britain's disillusioned electorate. But there's a paradox at the heart of Reform's surge. For a movement intent on presenting itself as a viable alternative, its persistent failure to vet, to discipline, to recognise its own more extreme elements risks turning political momentum into moral farce. Take, for example, Doncaster. There, candidate Howard Rimmer posted about foreigners arriving from shit countries and encouraged people to avoid uncouth, unchristian corner shops. Alliteration aside, it's not very good advice, really, is it? His content remains publicly accessible. Reform, notably, didn't even bother with the fig leaf of a takedown. In the same area, candidate Steve Plater reposted neo-Nazi propaganda, and Mark Broadhurst shared memes lionising Hitler's supposed admiration of Islam. That these posts weren't caught in advance is not just an oversight, it's a dereliction of duty. We're not talking about one or two rogue councillors slipping through the net. According to Hope Not Hate, an anti-extremism campaign group, some of the material they uncovered would have made even the British National Party blush. Yet Nigel Farage insists that his movement is transforming into a serious electoral force, a self-styled election-winning machine. If so, it's a machine held together with duct tape and double think. And Nigel Farage's movement, well, I think it's not. ELACs that he needs. I think what Nigel Farage needs is a certain discouragement from moving. And true, the party now insists that there's a vetting process in place. Sniff and scratch and sniff. But one candidate, Ingrid Shared, is it Shared or Shard? Ingrid Shared, I think. Let's call her Ingrid. I'm in trouble for mispronouncing people's names, by the way. I am a dreadful mispronouncer of names, but YouTube isn't going to cure me of that. But Ingrid Shared recounted going through 3 rounds of interviews and being asked to pledge £1,000 to help heroes should she defect. A third of applicants, we are told, have been rejected this year. Yet the reality on the ground belies such claims. Reform councillors have continued to emerge with clear ties to the far right, to Tommy Robinson, to outright racism. So I even joke about Grenfell and the KKK, as in the case of Ron Thurman in West Northamptonshire. The dissonance here is telling. When Nigel Farage denounces Robinson's supporters as not welcome, his party fields candidates who have been praising him dozens of times. Reform UK is on paper attempting to professionalise, publishing a constitution, hiring regional organisers, mimicking the ground game of the Liberal Democrats, but it remains unable or unwilling to apply basic ethical filters to its front-facing representatives. And let's not ignore the optics either. Reform is fielding the most candidates in this election cycle, over 1,600, yet it has the lowest percentage of female candidates. Its candidate list, not just ideologically but demographically, increasingly resembles a UKIP reunion rather than a modern, credible political force. Some of its names are almost theatrical in their controversy. Aaron Banks is actually standing as a candidate. The Brexit financier, dogged, a lot of dogging, dogged by questions about data breaches and tax debts, is now a mayoral candidate. Darren Grimes, the former GB News firebrand who claimed a teenager was jailed for flying an England flag near a mosque, in fact he plotted arson, is now standing in Stanley. And of course, there's the party's suspended and unsuspended bigots such as Stephen Hartley, who called Jimmy Savile a working-class hero. And yet this party is polling at 25%. That's not a fluke. It's a sign of something deeper. Reform is capitalising on a vacuum. The Tories have imploded and Labour remains cautious and aloof. Voters are desperate for authenticity, and many are not pausing to ask whether the face of authenticity is in fact a mask for extremism. If Reform UK performs well on Thursday, and it may, it must then answer a simple question: is it ready to govern locally with discipline and decency, or will it remain a vehicle for pub bore politics and online bile? In conclusion, the failure to vet and control candidates is not just a procedural hiccup, it's a moral warning. If Farage wishes to present his party as the voice of the forgotten man, he must first ensure it isn't run by the people the rest of us would try to forget for good reason. The real question is not whether Reform will win on Thursday, it's what they will do on the day after, and the day after that, and the day after that.